so this video is going to show you the second part of Happy Birthday. So this is for students who are familiar with their G major scale and who already have the entire right hand of the melody of Happy Birthday memorized. So if you don't have the right hand memorized yet, don't watch this video. Go and memorize it for a few days or the next week and then watch this video. If you have not yet done the G major scale, there is a different video for those who have done the pentascale. That's the one with just the 5 fingers. So they are different. But if you have done the G major scale and you have the right hand memorized, you're in the right place. Okay, so first of all, we are going to talk about the scale and we're going to break it down so then we can actually apply our primary chords to Happy Birthday. Okay, so here's our G major scale. We have G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Can you figure out what is missing here? If you said it's the F sharp, you would be correct. So we actually need to have an F sharp there. And let's make a little bit more room. Uh-oh, hold on. Okay, so now we have the correct G major scale. So it has one black key. So in G's house, all the F's are sharp. That's like going to C major's house and you ask for some milk and they just have plain milk. They're like, we just have plain milk here in C major because C has no black keys, right? But then maybe you go to G major's house and they're like, hey, we got chocolate milk, right? So in G major's house, the milk is only chocolate. F's are always sharp. In C major's house, you just have plain milk. Everything white keys. So the rules apply specific to the key signature that you're in. The key signature for Happy Birthday that we're doing is the key of G major. So we are following G's house rules, which has F sharp as the only black key no matter what within their chords. Now you can always add accents to other pieces and other music, but it's not going to apply for Happy Birthday, so we're not going to worry about it. I also have up here the numbers of the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and notice that I go back to 1 when I go to G. I'm not going to 8, okay? All right, so they all have a name. Now the very first one, this might be review for you, this might be brand new, but for the very first key of a scale, it always has the same name, and it is the tonic, all right? So if we're in C major, C would be the tonic. A major, A would be the tonic, but here we're in the key of G major, G is going to be our tonic, okay? And then the 5th note, in this case it's D, and if you remember correctly, the song actually starts with a D, right? So we're starting on what's called the lower dominant. So the title for D is actually dominant, and since the D that we're starting with in Happy Birthday is below the tonic, we call that the lower dominant because it's below. If you play a chord, you know, you have G with your thumb and you'll have the D with your pinky, well, that's the dominant, it's always above. But if that G happens to be, I'm sorry, if that D happens to be below the G, that's why it's called the lower dominant. I'm just gonna put dominant right here. So that's the name of it, dominant, dominant. I wonder if I could stretch this bad boy out. That is very helpful that I can. Okay, so we have the dominant here. Now, the other one that's really important is going to be our 4, okay? And in the key of G major, it is C. C is going to be also one of the buddies. So these guys, they are buddies to the end. This is our subdominant. Okay. Sorry, they're kind of squishy. But I think you get the idea. So we have our tonic, our subdominant, and our dominant. Well, who cares, right? Who cares? Well, we do care. You don't have to remember all of this, but it's a very good thing to have. Now, I'm going to keep going with this. I don't know if you are familiar with Roman numerals or not. I'm going to actually try to draw these. But if you were to play the chords of G major and they had to follow the rules with the black keys, okay? So example, if you are going to look at your keyboard, let me go ahead and pull a keyboard up here. All right, so I have my little keyboard here, and we're gonna actually go through the chords themselves, and you might wanna follow along on your piano. So for a G chord, we're gonna do a G chord that has, you know, all the white keys. So that would be, let's do little hearts here. Oh, they're pretty big hearts. Let's see if I can shrink it down a little bit. Okay, here we go. Oh, maybe a little bit smaller. All right, there we go. So we have what? We have G, we have B, and then we have a D, right? Now, no black keys, we don't have any Fs, so there's no sharps. Is this a major or a minor chord? If you said major, that is correct. So we're gonna do Roman numeral 1 because that is our 1 chord. And since it's major, it's going to be capital, okay? Let's move on. Let's go ahead and go to A. So let's move this all up. We don't have any Fs. So, oops, I don't know what the heck that just did. So we don't have any Fs. So they're all going to be white keys. So is this major or minor? And if you're ever not sure, take your 3 finger and move it up or down a half step. See if you can, because here's the thing. If it is a minor, but you're not sure if it's a minor, in this case it is a minor, just so you know, but if you are not sure it's a minor, play around with, okay, well, if it's minor, that means that if I move my 3 finger up a half step, then that's gonna be a major, and you're gonna hear that really clearly. Okay, if you are not sure though, and you play it, and let's say it is a major, and then you move that 3 finger down, well then you're gonna clearly hear the difference between the major and the minor. So this one is a minor, so we're gonna do Roman numeral 2, but it's going to be lowercase, okay? So we're gonna do 2 of these. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We're gonna go to B. All right, now this one, it's got an F, so we're actually gonna be up here. So what is that one? Major or minor? That is a minor. So we're going to do the Roman numeral for 3, lowercase, because it's minor. All right, so now let's go ahead and move to our C chord. All white keys, we don't have an F. Major or minor? Sorry, that's taking a moment. It is major, so that one is going to be a 4 chord, and it is going to be, oops, not a highlighter, sorry. So this one, I don't know why it's doing the highlighter, sorry. It's gonna be a little inconsistent, but that's all right. All right, so that's gonna be a uppercase Roman numeral for 4. All right, moving on, we're gonna go to D. Oh, D's got an F, so we're gonna go to the sharp. All right, we got a triangle chord here. Is this major or minor? This is major, so it's gonna be an uppercase 5. All right, almost done. We're gonna go ahead and go to E. Is this major or minor? This is minor, okay? So it's gonna be lowercase. Now we're getting to the 7th. The 7th is known as what we call the leading tone. If you remember, if we are doing piano gymnastics and you have participated with piano gymnastics, then you would notice that as we learn, we do a lot of C through A, right? We start with the key of C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, but we only go C through A. Right? We do all the pentascales that way. We start with the scales that way. We do a lot. We don't add B in until later on. And the reason being is because B is the 7th note of that scale. It is the leading tone. In the case of G major, F sharp is your leading tone. This one, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, this is a minor. Let me go ahead and show you here on this. We're just going to go through this really, really quickly. So F sharp is the only black key. And here what we have is called your minor diminished chord. If you've done all the chords for piano gymnastics, you might remember doing diminished. And what that means is an F sharp, just so I can lay it out for you, an F sharp major chord would be all of these black keys. To find the minor, we lower the third note down a half step. So that right there is F minor. But if we lower the fifth a half step, now we have what's called F minor diminished, and that's going to look like this. It's going to look like a lowercase 7, oopsies. It's going to look like a lowercase 7, oops, that's supposed to be straight. And then it's got like a little circle, like almost like degrees. If you look at the, like it's 10 degrees outside or something, which right now it's 23 degrees, so it's cold. That's what the diminished symbol is. So that's the leading tone. Okay, we're almost done. We're back to G. So we're back to our uppercase 1. All right, now we got that out of the way. So what we have here is we have a nice noticeable visual difference of all of the chords for the G major scale. So if you're in the key of G major and you're not adding in any additional accidentals, like any additional like black keys or anything like that, you're gonna have mainly what's called your primary chords, which is going to be your 1, your tonic, your 4, your subdominant, and your 5, your dominant. These 3 chords are like, and these 3 keys are like BFFs, right? I don't know if you have 2 friends that you hang out with all the time. They're like your go-to people. These guys kind of have a clique going. They're friends with everybody else, but those people just kind of come here and there, right? Or you can also look at it like family members. Maybe at home you're a family of 3. Maybe it's you, mom, and dad, right? That's your primary family. And then maybe an aunt comes in, grandma comes to visit, you know, that's maybe the other one. So they're not there all the time, but they do visit. That's how all music is created. So now we're going to go to Happy Birthday. And bear with me. I know that this is a lot of information for what we are doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a picture of the sheet that I want you looking at in your packet, and we're going to go through that together. Okay, in your packet, this is the page that we're going to be on for creating our harmony. All right. Now, we already decided, let's see if I can write on this thing. We already, hold on. Okay, so we already have the scale, right? So we have G, A, and then we have B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then we have G. So we already have our scale all mapped out here. All right, cool. And we know now of our primary chords. We have our 1 chord, our 4 chord, and our 5 chord, our G, C, and D. So that's all fantastic. That is all fabulous. So that means that this song is going to be built primarily only from your G chord, your C chord, and your D chord. Now, depending on where you are in your musical journey, there's 2 ways to go about this. All right, so I'm going to put my keyboard back on here so that we can take a look at that and I can show you the difference. So there's 2 different ways to do this. The first way is how, if this is new for you, you would do it. You would go ahead and you would play either, oh, for Pete's sake, you would do a G chord, right? Or maybe and then you would actually move. Let's say you have to play a D. You would like physically move your entire hand. And remember, we would do kind of like the claw where you lift your wrist and drop. So you would go to D. And then if you had to physically pick up and go to C. I can't move that heart. I don't know what I did to the heart. I made the heart shrink. Anyway, I think you get what I'm going at. So I'm trying to make a D major chord, and I'm having no luck doing that at all. Okay, now I can't move my hearts at all. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is you would either play G chord, you would lift your hand, move physically to the D chord, pick up your hand, move to the G or the C. So they're total normal chords, okay? Now, if you have done the cadences with piano gymnastics, then you'll be familiar with the next part. And this is where we play the inverted chords. If you've never done this, that's okay. You can still keep watching this, but don't worry about this moving forward. Unless you understand what I'm talking about and you want to go for it. I mean, by all means, that's great. I'm gonna try these X's. Maybe I'll have a little bit more luck with it. So when you play the inverted chords, you play G, right? And then you would move. So you play the G first, and then let's see if I'm a little bit more successful with this time around. I don't know why this is like so, hold on, I'm gonna pause this. Okay, I think I got it figured out. So, man, I'll tell you what, this is like so much harder than it needs to be. Okay, so when you're playing it, you play the G chord, and then you move up to okay, we're going to start this over. So you have the G chord, right? And then you move up to this black key, right? Wait, no, you don't. You move up to where your hands play these, right? What chord is that? If you had to like move it all around, what chord would that be? That would be your C chord. So you first play your G chord, then you play your C chord, right? Then you're going to go back to, oops, let's leave that. It's okay. Then you're going to go back to your G chord, right? Then you are going to play this chord. So you're playing this one up here, this F sharp, this A, and this D. What chord is that? That is D major. It's just flipped around. All right, so that's your D major chord. So the pattern that you're doing for your cadences is G, you're playing G, you're going up to C, you're going back to G, you're playing D, and then you play G. That is the cadence pattern that we learn, all right? So those are your chords. So how are we going to plug this into Happy Birthday, you ask? Well, I am so excited to tell you. We're going to go back to our sheet. All right, and so here, if you look, we have, hold on, I'm gonna get red out here. All right, so we have down here, this happy birthday that you are seeing in the bottom left-hand corner, that has your 1, 5, 5, 1, and notice that's happening on birth, right? So happy birthday to you. That's when you're playing the chords. And that applies if you're playing in any key signature. If you're playing the key of C, those are the primary chords that you're playing. If you're playing the key of A, okay, we're playing the key of G. So we're going to go ahead and plug these over into the other side. So you're going to need a pencil because I want you doing this with me, all right? They already did the first ones for you. So look how they plugged it in. So they put the 1 over here, and they're like, okay, 1 in the key of G is G. 5, the V, in the key of G is D. So then they put the over U. Do you see how they did that? So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in the rest of the song. So I'm going to go ahead and do it quietly, but I want you doing it too and seeing if you can get it correct. Okay, so here we have it. Yours should look like mine. And if you look on the next page in your packet, I'll actually show it to you because I have it handy here. So if you look at the next page in your packet, it'll look like this, and you actually have it laid out piece by piece. But I want you to look at this sheet here for now. What you're going to want to do is you're going to try to play this 3 times. And you want to play the correct chord at the right time of the song. This is why your right hand needs to be really strong and memorized, because you're not looking at it at all. All right? And you're going to match it up. I am going to tell you, you might not be good at it at first, okay? That's pretty normal. If you get this the first time, you're ahead of like 90% of people who play this. So just take it really slow. Take it phrase by phrase. We have 4 phrases here. Take it phrase by phrase. And then the second time you do it again. And then the third time, you'll be better at it. Now, if you have to do it at home for practice, something that I recommend, if you want to get this a little bit more quickly, you're going to benefit from practicing this way by doing the first phrase only 3 times. It's really quick. Happy birthday to you. That's it. You do that 3 times. Do the next phrase 3 times, okay? Then put them all together. So you're going to do 3 times, 3 times, 3 times, 3 times, then the whole thing together. And then the next day, 3 times, 3 times, 3 times, 3 times, put the whole thing together. This is going to help you memorize this, and it's going to help you achieve it. So I usually tell students 1 week of learning this and getting good at it. The second week is going to be focusing on memorizing it. So that's for the creating the harmony. Once you get these blocked chords, even if you don't think that they sound amazing, that's okay. Because after this, it's going to be learning the patterns so that you can start deciding how you want to arrange this piece. So that is your job. Go ahead and do that, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for hanging in there.